Welcome to TheoTrade. This is Don Kaufman. In this video, we're going to be talking about the New York Stock Exchange bans stop orders. It's quite the controversial topic right now. I think you guys are going to be a little surprised about a little bit of my own stance on stop orders. And so the New York Stock Exchange has gone ahead and approved the ban of all stop orders. So think about this, because here we are, and I've brought up Apple. You don't think of Apple as like a New York Stock Exchange stock, but neither here nor there. For the example, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's New York Stock Exchange. We'll talk about the New York Stock Exchange here momentarily, but what that kind of means is you won't be able to go to like buy custom and buy with a stop, right? That's what you're thinking. It's actually not true. It's not true at all. Just because the New York Stock Exchange is banning stop orders, and that ban, it's supposed to take effect, okay, February 16th, 2016. February 16th, 2016, the ban of stop orders finally goes into place. Oh, the crowd's going wild. But it means absolutely nothing if you're a retail client. Why? Okay, because first and foremost, the liquidity providers, okay, that are ultimately taking the other side of your order may have nothing to do with the New York Stock Exchange. That simply means when you go to a brokerage firm, so here I am and I'm on Thinkorswim and I brought Apple up over here. And again, the stock that you select is neither here nor there. You know, you can bring up some stock that does list in the New York Stock Exchange. Just because a stock lists on the New York Stock Exchange, people have this notion like, does that mean it routes to the New York Stock Exchange? No. No, not at all. It doesn't have to go to the New York Stock Exchange. There's umpteen different liquidity providers out there. And what liquidity providers are, they could be market-making firms. I have to be honest, when you look at the New York Stock Exchange, and this is really, again, a kind of a controversial topic, but when you look at the New York Stock Exchange, I spent, okay, from year 2000 until 2015 working inside of Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. And I can tell you right now, nobody routes to the New York Stock Exchange. They're like the worst out there for order routing and speed of order routing. So you don't, when you're a retail brokerage firm, okay, speed matters. So if I'm to go out there and I'm to route a live trade, I'll just give you a quick example here. So here's Apple. Apple's down $3 today, but neither here nor there. Here's Apple, and I'm just going to route away from the market. Let's say I wanted to go out and buy 100 shares of Apple at 115. Now it's trading a bit above that. Hit confirm and send, send off my order over there. And, that thing, oh, it's working over there. And then I just right-click over here, cancel the order, like, oop, you are out. Okay, the New York Stock Exchange, the speed of the orders and so forth, it's not as good as some of the other liquidity providers out there. And when you're a retail brokerage firm, like, speed matters. Like everybody wants instant coffee, instant tea. So I can tell you that a lot of the brokerage firms, and I don't want to speak specifically for Thinkorswim, and I don't want to speak for TD Ameritrade, but most of the major brokerage firms, they actually route away from the New York Stock Exchange. So what does that mean for the ban on stop orders? It means the liquidity providers, that is, whoever TD Ameritrade is routing their order flow to, okay, when you hit confirm and send, that goes to some type of liquidity provider, some type of exchange, some type of electronic crossing network, which is sometimes known as like, the ECNs over there. There are umpteen different, again, liquidity providers and market makers and Getco, and, it goes on and on and on and on. The liquidity providers, those liquidity providers, they very well may say, no, we're not going to ban stop orders. They're the greatest thing. They're the greatest thing for the market makers. Now, again, here becomes that controversial topic. When Thinkorswim was being built, for several years in Thinkorswim's existence, there were no stop orders available in this trading application. Now, I want you guys to recognize, like, again, I spent from 2000 to 2015 working on this trading application. I'm no longer employed, okay, by TD Ameritrade, who of course owns Thinkorswim in any way, shape, or form. I still do have a fairly significant position in their stock. Okay, I guess one of the benefits of working there for 15 years is they gave me stock. But the reason I mention this is because I don't want to speak on behalf again of TD Ameritrade, but we used to have conversations in early Thinkorswim days were like, stop orders are the most ridiculous things we've ever seen. Most of us came from this professional trading background. I never met anyone in the professional trading arena, ever, that used a stop order successfully. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, and I'm not just talking about market makers, okay? One of the things that you're afforded the ability to do, and again, we're just looking at a screen over here, and you can buy and sell, but one of the things you're afforded the ability to do when you're working for or running a portion of a brokerage firm is you can see order flow. Like working for 15 years inside of the brokerage business, you could see the order flow. And, we never really got a good phone call about stop orders. Like, what's the biggest problem with stop orders? They work! That's the biggest problem with the stop orders. They work. And people go, yeah, but they stopped me out and I didn't like it. I guess it's a rudimentary form of risk management. But if you really want better risk management, use some types of spreads. Use, different types of orders out there. Like, again, you'll never convince me that, well, I had to use a stop order. Okay, what'd you have to use a stop order for? Legitimately, what did you have to use a stop order for? Well, I went out and I bought Apple. Okay, I bought Apple at 115. So let's go ahead and just go go over here, buy custom, buy, put a stop order below, buy the stock wherever it is, and say, let's set the stop at, I don't know, let's give it a nice big warm fuzzy number. Let's make it like 112. Okay, so we go out and we're going to buy the stock at 115, pretty much where the market is, set the stop at 112. So this trade, I'm buying the stock at 115. I'm actually over here. Let's take a very detailed look at this because I think this is a fairly important example that we're going to go through. Let's freeze the screen for a moment, take a look, and I'm buying the stock right there at 115, right there. 112 is my stop order, and the stop becomes a marketable order at 112. But then I'm going to relate this stop order to probability of touching. Now, I use the 15-day expiration. Let's assume that you're going to own the stock. Like in your mind, you're going to own it for like 2 weeks because you're expecting kind of an up move. Do you know that there's a 63% chance of touching the 112 level? Okay, that ultimately means, all right, that when I say a 63% chance, there's a 63% chance that what's going to happen? Okay, you're going to get stopped out, and most people don't think about it that way, and that's one of the reasons that traders recognize this. So for liquidity providers, they love when you use stop orders. They don't want to do away with stop orders. The New York Stock Exchange coming out and saying that they're banning stop orders, okay, it's a shot across the bow that you should fully respect. It's a shot across the bow because they're finally saying that stop orders, hey, ladies and gentlemen, they're the most worthless things on the planet. You have to be able and more effective to be able to manage your risk. Rather than go out and buy a stock and set a stop order, you can use defined risk spreads. So getting into a trade, precisely. If you want $2 of risk, fine. Use some kind of spread that's got $2 of risk in it. That's buy one option, sell another option against it. And there's going to be a number of these free educational videos here at TheoTrade that do just that. They're to instruct you that there are better trades along with the right criteria, okay, to in effect put on, okay, more effective trades than going out and using a stop order. So again, kind of a controversial topic, but heed the warning. If the New York Stock Exchange is banning stop orders, okay, you should really consider, do I ever want to use this in my own trading? And as I said, and again, that surprised a lot of people. I know hundreds and hundreds of professional traders. And I will say again, the ones that survive, the ones that have been in this business and around the campfire, okay, I've been doing this now. I'm coming into my 18th year of trading, okay, both on the professional side, managing risk for Thinkorswim, okay, and you just don't meet people that use stop orders, okay, that survive in the industry. They use, okay, different strategies, in essence, so that they don't have to use stop orders. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us here at TheoTrade.